I don't think that anything has been updated on this on the end of investigation into left-wing authoritarianism. And it's too bad, because it isn't exactly obvious to me that when the left goes wrong, it goes wrong exactly the same way the right goes wrong when it goes wrong.
Yeah.
So I think the right might have more of a proclivity to clump together in a unitary fashion, partly because I think it's easier to do that on the right. If it's true that those on the right are more conscientious and dutiful and lower in openness, that means they're not as diverse in their opinions and range of interests, let's say. And so in principle, it would be easier to unite them. And that might be an advantage. There's an advantage to rapid unification, just like there's an advantage to diversity of ideation, which covers more territory but is slower and harder to organize. So, and the fact that the research isn't balanced to investigate both ends means, that we're ignorant about these things when we shouldn't be.
Yes, and we should be studying it, and we should be studying the impact or the relationship of social media, particularly to both left-wing and right-wing authoritarianism. There's an article that Rob Henderson wrote with another grad student called Vincent Haranam. We published it a couple of years ago, and it's called "Political Moderates Are Lying." And the thesis was that in our online groups and online tribes, over time, those who are more fanatical or those who are more dogmatic in their views come to dominate the discussion, and they intimidate the moderates in the group. And the effect that has is, over time, it pulls the moderates over to the more extreme pole of the group, or the more extreme pole of the ideology that is held.
The idea that you need to pay attention to your institutions and that sometimes they need criticism and reform. It's like, obviously, institutions ossify, and they become corrupt, and everyone has to be alert to that. And there are steps you can and should take and are morally obligated, I think, to take.
Yes.
But the thing about activism is that it's almost always predicated on the idea that you're right, you're morally superior, and you've identified the people who are wrong. And to me, that's one step away from mob, and it's one step away from punishment. And one of the things that appalls me and makes me ashamed in relationship to the universities is that universities are pretty good at teaching young people that being an activist is a good thing. And I'm not so sure at all that it's a good thing. I think it's pseudo responsibility, especially because it always comes with an easy identification of just who the enemy is.
That's exactly right. No, I think you're right. And I think that if you're going to attack, if you're going to be on the attack, you have to also build. It's your responsibility and it's your duty to build. So
you built an alternative. That's what you did.
Yeah. And I think, if you're going to attack our institutions, I have a lot of problems with establishment institutions, but you can't just attack them. What are we going to have left when we've got no institutions? We've got to have new institutions. We've got to start building them now.
Well, we can have rubble and everyone can be equal in the rubble. That's happened many, many, many times.
And that's the risk. That's the risk, and that's why I think attacking institutions has to go hand in hand and lots of people I agree that there's something about social media and social media enabled activism that makes finding an outlet, humanizing an outlet, attacking it very easy.
When we're talking about conservatism and liberalism, one of the things conservatives always say to liberals is, don't be thinking that your stupid invention is only doing what you think it is. Right.
That's the Chesterton's fence concept.
Yes, and if you've done any sort of laboratory experiments, you get very, very sensitive to it because things don't go the way you predict they will, right? Your with your stupid hypothesis. And so who knows what the like button did? Facebook is it's not nothing, right? It's just a like button. No,
yeah.
it's like 300 million like buttons.